All right, Jesse on fire, back for another one. Let's kick it up a notch, because now Gilbert Burns is getting the next title shot at Kamaru Usman. And I believe that somebody may have said that Gilbert Burns is the biggest beast in that division. So I guess we're going to find out whether or not Jesse on fire is right, because I said Gilbert Burns is the guy to beat, right? Didn't I say that? Didn't I? So we'll see. But there's a major factor that I'm going to discuss right here that I forgot to discuss when I previously discussed Gilbert Burns as it related to the welterweight division and Kamaru Usman specifically, okay? So here's the deal. If you're a fight fan and you're a man or you're a girl who is a fight fan, then you'll understand this dynamic as well. When you walk into a room with someone that you know really well, basically one for one, there's always one of you that cares more about what the other one thinks of you than the other one cares about what you think of them. And that is the simplest way that I can lay out who is the alpha in the relationship. Now, there are certainly relationships among guys who will never bend the knee to anybody, right? Like they are genuine equals, and they're usually either really, really close or they hate each other. But most of the time they're really close, you know? Two fighters train at the same gym. They don't have that dynamic. They have mutual respect for each other. A lot of times there is that dynamic between two people. And generally, the more accomplished of the two is the one who commands more respect from the other one, right? And so if you think about that, right? Like if there's someone in that relationship who has the dynamic where they care a little bit less than the other guy about what the other one thinks of them, then they have a huge advantage in that fight. Now, that's not always true, okay? Now, as an example, if you've ever seen the Mixed Molly-Whoppery video about Rose Namajunas, The Journey, maybe his best one ever. If you haven't seen it, I think I mentioned it on another video very recently. It is amazing, and you should for sure watch it. But the beginning of the Rose Namajunas one is about Pat Barry, okay? And so the highlight of Pat Barry's career was against Anthony Hardunk, okay? So Pat Barry had been a part of Team Mr. Perfect, which was basically, you know, some of the best kickboxers in the world, in the history of the world, actually. But Pat Barry was kind of like a, you know, he was basically like a bait dog. If you don't know what a bait dog is, Google it, okay? He was a bait dog at Team Mr. Perfect. And Anthony Hardunk was not a bait dog. He was one that got fed bait dogs. So, you know, the kind of details around how Pat Barry ended up leaving that team were not super clear in that video. However, it was not amicable, apparently. And Anthony Hardunk had never given him any respect. Okay, so there's the dynamic where you want someone to like you, but if they never give you anything, like if you never get anything at all from them, if they're just a prick and they just look down their nose at you, then guess what? When you fight them for real later in life, and they won't fist bump you before the fight, they have literally taken every ounce of pressure off of you. All of it, okay? That's like the best scenario you could possibly go into a fight with. Some guy who has given you no respect. You have gone out of your way trying to impress them your whole career. You want them to approve of you, and they've never given you one sliver of approval. Well, guess what? You got nothing to lose. So now you get to go smash their fucking head in with no pressure whatsoever, okay? So Anthony Hardunk, who didn't understand shit about, you know, I mean, anything. He should have given him respect. That's one of those things that only someone with absolutely masterclass EQ like me would understand, okay? If that's your dynamic going into that fight, where you're the one who was on the pedestal and the other guy was always vying for your approval and you never gave it to them, okay? And then when you guys come to the center of the octagon, whether or not you give them a fist bump before the fight, which is going to give you a better chance of beating them? The answer is you give them the fist bump, okay? That softens them, okay? They come out with a hard face like, you've never given me shit, and you give it to them for the first time, and they're like, oh shit. Then all of a sudden they're softened up like, wow, this guy's never given me approval before. That's the thing that's going to take the razor off their edge, okay? I don't expect most of you guys to understand this, but trust me, I'm correct about this. And anybody who has masterclass Einstein EQ that's watching this, me explaining this to you should demonstrate that I'm on the same level, okay? Now, by not punching his hand, not giving him the respect, now you may as well just sharpen that edge for him, okay? I've never given you shit. I'm still not giving you shit. You have no reason to be worried about what I think, because I've told you, no matter what you do, I'm always going to think you're nothing. So pound my face in. I mean, you're coming in as hard as you possibly can, okay? With Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns, I have no idea what the dynamic between the two of them is. I have seen videos and pictures of them interacting, smiling at each other, so they certainly have a good relationship of some kind. Whether Gilbert Burns, you know, like, in all honesty, I probably should have actually looked at video of him, just of him talking, or photographs of him, because I'd be able to give you a read just based on that. As a matter of fact, I'll do that right now. On how likely it is that he is a person who, would be kind of like a, kind of in awe of Kamaru Usman, or be worried about what he thinks of him, etc. I'm literally going to look at his photograph right now and tell you. I don't know. It's hard to say. I can't get a read off of just his pictures because they're all him fighting or like in whatever. I need like a picture of him when he's relaxed in an interview, or watch his eyes, or if I can watch them actually interact, then I'll be able to tell. But the bottom line is this: like, Kamaru Usman's not going to be the one in that relationship that is like, oh geez, I hope that Gilbert Burns likes me, because the one that has that dynamic, even a little bit, a fucking hair of that, a hair of I care about my relationship with this man more than he cares about his relationship with me, is the millimeter. It's the millisecond that you hesitate on a counter. It's the tiny little thing that will be the difference in that fight, or could be. That's why you don't want to go into a fight with a relationship with the person if it affects your performance. Cowboy is one of those people. Okay, that's what I understood about Cowboy. That's what Connor understands about Cowboy. That Cowboy does not understand about himself. When he goes in there and the guy's a fucking prick to him, and he comes out like really there's a difference between Cowboy coming out kind of like, looking like he's ready to go and actually ready to go. Okay, Cowboy's a fucking warrior. He's a savage. But he's also a really, really nice, good guy who likes to fight. Okay, so when he likes to fight, and he's a good guy, and he likes the guy across the octagon, there is a huge difference between Cowboy sparring full throttle and Cowboy fighting for real. Putting in his head, like I've always said this, from a psychological standpoint, if you gave me 1 minute with Cowboy in a room and he listened to me, I could make him a better fighter with 1 minute. In 1 minute. As a matter of fact, Cowboy, if you ever see this, this is the correct way for you to approach your fights going forward, okay? I want you to pretend at all times, I don't care what your history is with the guy that you're fighting against, I want you to pretend that the guy on the other side of the octagon from you is trying to get to your wife and kids to fuck them and kill them, okay? I want you, that is who they are at that moment, okay? So when you're circling around the octagon, wherever you are, your wife and kid are directly behind you. And if this fucking guy gets through you, that's who they're getting to, okay? That's what you're in there fighting for, okay? You're not in there because you love to fight. You're not in there, you're in there protecting your family from fucking imminent death. That is how you should be fucking approaching these fights. And then snap yourself out of it after the fights, okay? It's awesome that you love to fight, but you are a killing machine if you tap into that. Okay, who's gonna get through you? What fucking man on earth is gonna get through you to get to your wife and kid if their intention is to kill your fucking wife and kid? Nobody, right? Nobody. So fight like that. Put yourself in that mental spot and fight as if your family's life depends on it. Probably a little intense for most people, but that is my suggestion to Cowboy, how he should fight, and other people too. Some people wouldn't fight well that way, to be honest with you. Some people, the anger would make them not fight. Like Amanda Nunes. That's not how she should fight. Amanda Nunes should go in there and just do exactly what she's doing and looking like a shark, like, I love pounding female flesh into the ground. Other people, that thought would make them mad, it would make them make mistakes. Cowboy, that would turn him into a razor sharp animal. So, how that's going to apply to Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, TBD, but that is what you smart people who have strong emotional intelligence should be paying attention to if you want to get an edge on the betting side. So, anyway, that is what I have skill set wise. Burns, in my opinion. But if Usman beats Burns, you're never going to hear nothing from me about Usman ever again. That is going to be the defining line where I'm like, oh, okay, he's something special. He's going to be here for a long time. That is pretty much what I got. I'm very unhappy that Masvidal is not the one that's in this fight. But, what are you going to do? I understand. I hated reading that statement that he made, man. Where he said, like, I'm getting put in a position where I have no recourse other than to not fight. And I was like, he's 100% right. That is exactly the position that he's in. Sucks. It sucks, man. I've been doing these videos talking about the business, and if I sound as if I'm like on UFC side, it's not a matter of side. It's a matter of, they're just inconvenient truths. And the job of the business is to maximize shareholder value. The reality of COVID is there are no crowds. The reality of a fighter is they want to negotiate more money. The reality of negotiating more money during COVID, there are no crowds. It ain't going to happen, dude. It's just not going to happen. I don't know. I mean, listen, at the same time, the pay-per-view numbers are up because people can't go to each other's houses to watch, at least, or until very recently. Don't steal pay-per-views, okay? I've never stolen a fucking pay-per-view. And I realize that there's irony of a guy wearing a $12,000 watch and telling people don't steal fucking pay-per-views. But at the same time, when I had no money, I still didn't steal fucking pay-per-views, okay? I love this sport. I love UFC. I don't fucking steal pay-per-views. I don't do it. I've never done it. I never will do it. Ever. Someone asked me if I was streaming it the other night. I was like, yeah, of course. And they're like, oh, I'm like, through ESPN Plus. I'm fucking streaming it. Streaming it like stealing it? Fuck you. Of course I'm not fucking stealing it. Jesus. Anyway, but yeah, that's what I got for now. Subscribe and ring the bell. If you guys like the content, please like the video. Ring the bell after you subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Peace.